draw.io. This is just a free program online which does exactly the same things as Microsoft Visio, so it's just perfect for what we need to do. Just click on Create New Diagram. You can see online on your Google Drive if you want to save it there. It's up to you. You can watch the previous videos on how to do that. So just create new diagram, and I'll just call this right here number 1 animal, and then dog/bird UML diagram. And what we'll do, you can select that class diagram because it's gonna make the template that we need, and then click create. Root folder, sure, I guess if you want you can just connect it with your Gmail. It's really up to you. I'll just put this here for now. And then this is just a template, but we want to reorganize this and just get rid of a few things. So let me just organize this, and then you guys can follow along as well. And these arrows, I'm going to fix these arrows just so it looks a little bit better. I'm just adding 3 instance variables at the top, and then 3 methods at the bottom. So there we go. I basically just grabbed what I needed, just did Control-C if you're on Windows, and then Control-V to create a duplicate copy like this, and then just move it around and it'll eventually snap into place. So what I want to do here is I just want to show you that, so we're going to have this one item up here which is the parent. So I'll put a label here. This is called the parent. Because this is a class-based diagram, it looks different than what we've been doing with folder structures. So the first one is the parent, and underneath is always the children. And what we want to do is we just want to grab this entire thing, make sure it's all highlighted. Like this. And then you see that little arrow, it pops up. Just drag it down, and then just move it around so it looks a little bit nicer. And then take this to another one, like this. Just do your best with making it look as neat as possible. There we go, that looks a lot better. So now what we want to do is, let me just remove a lot of these just naming conventions right now, because it's just going to get really confusing if you guys are looking at all this. And now I'm just going to change all these titles. So this one will be a bird. And this one will be a dog. So right here, we'll just say animal. And it doesn't matter, make it animal, mammal, doesn't matter to me. I'm just trying to show you a hierarchy. It's a way of organizing your information. And up here in the parent, basically what we want to do is, what is some common features that both a bird and a dog have that we want to place up here? So the instance variables at the top are kind of like, are things we have to define to see if it's like integer, string, boolean, or whatever data type it is. But down here, we're describing either the methods or functions, which are some sort of action that they are performing. So if we do animal here, maybe we have a pet bird and a pet dog, so we could give it a name, string, and if we want to do the sex, whether it's male or female, it doesn't really matter. This isn't about gender studies, it's more about like how you represent it. If you want it to be a string, you could do that as well. It's all about how you put together your information, and this is more based on like projects in the future that you may have, or how you organize information. So there is age as well. So there could be integer for age, and then what do a bird and a dog do? I guess they could both walk technically, they both have legs. And what else do? They run. And another thing they do, they play. They could play, right? A bird has their own toys they play with, dogs as well. So right over here, you can see that these instance variables at the top, they still use camel case as well. First letter, lowercase, these are all single words, so it's fine. But here, these are the data types. So that when you are listing out the data types, you can see that the first letter is always uppercase. So make sure whenever you are writing these in the instance variables that these data types are uppercase, the string, boolean, integer, first letter uppercase. And then at the bottom here, these are methods or functions, so it's something that they perform or do. And you can see they have those brackets at the end, opening and closing brackets. So that denotes that it's actually going to do something. And that's how we list out the instance variables and the methods at the bottom. Now let's go to the bird. So what does a bird have? Let's say, I guess they have talons, and maybe we want to write how many talons they have. So it could be integer to count how many they have. Then we have beak, and maybe does it have a beak or not? Boolean, true or false. And feathers, does this bird have feathers or not? Honestly, you could make that an integer as well if you really want to. Feathers is just saying, do they have feathers or not? Yes or no. Because Boolean is represented by true or false only, there's only two values. So if it's true, then they have feathers. If false, then they do not have feathers. You could also put it as integer if you want. This is if you want to count how many feathers the birds have. It's just it really depends on you. I'll just make it Boolean for right now. And then I will go right here. And let me type in, so what does a bird do? They chirp. I'm just going to remove that underline right there. And what else does a bird do? A bird can fly. So let's put flies. Let's just put fly. And then here, maybe it can attack. So it can protect its nest and attack others. And just remove that underline there. There we go. So as you can see now, this is just organizing what specifically a bird has. they have talons, they have beaks, they have feathers, and a dog does not. So that's why we have to separate the different classifications between a bird and a dog. And at the bottom here, this is just something that a bird specifically does. A dog could attack as well, but we could. So if you want to put here on the dog side as well, we could do that as well. For me, I'm not going to get into like polymorphism, inheritance, and abstraction. So if you really have a hard time knowing what is involved here in like different areas, I'm okay with it being like somewhat duplicate. Just try to be as different as possible, but if nothing comes to mind, of course, you know, I'm not gonna deduct marks for that. It's just I want you to at least try your best. So what does a dog do? They bark. Birds can be trained to, I guess, mimic a bark, but we'll just say dogs bark. And what else can a dog do? A dog can protect. Birds could protect their nest as well, but it doesn't matter, it's up to you. And what else can a dog do? They chase. So those are the actions that a dog can perform. And what about some instance variables? Maybe if we want to count how many paws that they have. So integer, how many paws do dogs have? Okay, how about a snout? We could say Boolean, true or false. Do they have a snout? Hair, Boolean. If you want to know if the dog has hair or if it's a hairless dog, that's one way to classify it. So as you can see here, when we're doing this diagram, it's a class-based UML diagram, and here at the top, we try to do as much of the commonalities within the parent. And then here in the children, we're trying to specify exactly what do those one specific classes or like types do that is different from others. So it's just a way of organizing information.